And so Matthew, our good friend, is at the front of the line.
Go ahead.
What do you think of AJ's contract? I think ownership might prefer Mike Rizzo's style better. Rizzo's resume is as good as AJ's with less resources.
Well, Preller's got another 2 years. Would they want to eat a contract and get rid of him? I don't know. I think there has to be an evaluation, though, at the end of the season. If this postseason doesn't go long, you know, they're kind of hanging on for dear life right now for the final playoff spot. But again, the roster they have at noon today is probably not the roster they're going to have Friday morning at breakfast. I think there are going to be changes. I think the unique aspects to A.J. Preller is he knows pitching. He knows how to find players. I mean, what they've mined from the minor leagues, what they've mined from Japan, it's just amazing. But at the end of the day, he's also painted himself into a corner because ownership does not appear ready to allow him to take on any more money because of the luxury tax. So does he trade Dylan Cease on a short rental somewhere else? Does he get the right player back for Dylan Cease? If he trades Dylan Cease, it's going to give him, I think there's about $6 million left to be paid on Cease. That would give him $6 million space to take on a different type of player. So, but historically, he knows players. So I think that's why you give him a little bit longer leash. Have to be in the playoffs, though, because their World Series window, and I've said this for months, I've said it last year, the World Series window is right here, and it's starting to close because of the age of a lot of these players and now the injury factor that's been tacked on too. So I guess we'll just have to evaluate what happens in the final couple months of the season and if they can go deep into postseason play. I mean, that's my stance on AJ. Yours?
Well, ownership has changed, know, and there's a lot of new faces in the owner's suite, and, especially when Seidler left. I mean, AJ was Seidler's guy.
Yes.
And so now there's a change in the leadership there. So I got to, Preller doesn't have an unlimited contract. At some point, they might need to make a move, but I think Rizzo's going to get picked up somewhere else before there's any decisions made on Preller.
Well, normally people will make decisions on front office hires right at the end of the World Series because you want to give your new guy lead time to come in to evaluate what he's inheriting. And then obviously give him lead time for the general managers meetings where they lay trade groundwork. And the winter meetings are in December. Rizzo will be hired somewhere by somebody. I'm not sure at this point who else is in hot water. I'll say this now, and this will go down really badly in Orange County. Rizzo, Angels. What's there not to like considering Rizzo's track record, Washington? No?
Yeah, it's like a no-brainer. I mean, sorry, Perry, but, he hasn't been getting it done up there in Anaheim either.
But is that an ownership shortcoming? Might well be.
I think so. I think there's a lot of questions for the ownership there.
Okay, so that's where we are. We'll see. Month of October, I think, is going to be the trigger point as to how we look at A.J. Preller going forward, because, like I say, window's getting smaller. Go ahead, John, next one.
Okay, let's talk some Dodger ball with Matthew. He says, hey, why would Clase not being available be a big blow for the Dodgers? There are other relief pitchers they're looking at, and Friedman doesn't want to overpay on prospects. Guardians would want too much anyways.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we're talking about a significant guy here. I think 67 saves in a year and a half. That's big time. And they own his rights for another couple of years. It's not like you're renting him for 2 months. I was told he was the number one guy from the relief list. Now, they're also talking about a second baseman. I like Brandon Donovan. He's a grinder, and he can play second, and he can play the outfield. If they got him to play second, I think they're committed to keep Mookie Betts at the short. But they got him to play second, they could put Edman back in left field. Now, they want somebody different in left field. Harrison Bader. I liked Harrison Bader. I said when all the conversation about the Padres, when they're looking for somebody who could play left field, who could hit some, Bader. I mentioned Bader a month ago. So I don't know, the Padres haven't had much conversation with Minnesota about him, but so Clase was the number one guy. There will be some other relievers that they might look at. Now, the other piece of the equation, and this might happen, they could take a starter and convert him into a reliever. Dustin May might be going to the bullpen because Blake Snell's coming back and they got to open a slot in the rotation. And, maybe because May's had such a tough time controlling his third and fourth pitches, you just let him go to the pen and just throw heat and throw his second pitch, and you only use him in a shot. You got that. You got Landon Knack, who has pitched well. Obviously, they're converting Bobby Miller down at Oklahoma City, but that's a bit of a project to refine him to make him a closer. So the one thing the Dodgers have, a lot of other people don't, is they got depth. They got so many names you could use as trade bait, or you stay in-house and just move Dustin May. Go ahead.
Okay, this is kind of a crazy talk right here.
It's coming from you, from that corner of the room, yes.
But you know what's kind of weird is that if they weren't rivals, the Padres and Dodgers line up very nicely in terms of a trade possibilities, because the Padres have relief depth and the Dodgers have got so many different pieces that could fill Padre needs. Now, obviously, that's never going to happen, but it's interesting to think about in terms of the possibilities.
You've been drinking too much coffee. I mean, if the next sentence out of your mouth would be, you're going to propose Robert Suarez to Dodger Stadium.
Could you imagine? I mean, wouldn't that be weird?
I mean, trade with the enemy?
I mean, that would be really weird. But anyways, let's just keep moving on.
Peter Seidler will come down from heaven and have something to say about, we're trying to slay the dragon, not make the dragon better.
Well, if you could fleece the dragon, that's probably pretty good too. That comes close.
Okay, next one.
Okay, let's go here. We'll go down. Oh, James had a comment here about the Raiders. He says, hey, Raiders Wilkins also kissed a teammate on their forehead in the locker room, and the player went to HR. Raiders raidering.
Yeah, there's a lot of internal stuff there, but a guy joking around with another guy, that's a little bit weird to me. But this whole violation of the protocols about he had surgery and the rehab was going much slower, and they asked him to have a second surgery, and he said no. Then he started missing the rehab assignments. You can't do that, especially with the amount of money they paid him. I found out this morning he has made, at the initial contract, he's already made $50 million. He played 5 games, and he got hurt. Between the signing bonus, the salary, and then the roster bonus he got this offseason, he's already pocketed $50 million, and he's not showing up for the rehab with the doctors after he turned down the second proposal for surgery.
He figures he's got his bank, doesn't need to put in any effort. What the heck?
But he's a fine player. I mean, he had a really good career in Miami, and I thought that what an acquisition to get him to play alongside Max Crosby.
Yeah.
And every one of those guys in the Raider defensive front had surgery last year. So this is a really ugly end to what they thought was going to be a great investment, and a very expensive investment. So we'll see when it's going to wind up in a grievance in an arbitration hearing. We'll find out.
Yeah, just the tail end of that story, though, about the player getting kissed and then going to HR. Raiders don't go, whining to an HR manager about getting kissed on the forehead. Doesn't sound like Raiders mystique to me.
Just amazing. Different time. Okay, thanks, James.
Okay, and here's Paul. He goes, hey, I love you, Lee. In Preller, we trust. He's made the Padres exciting, and so many teams would love an aggressive general manager to give a small market city hope and relevance.
Yeah, I'll sign that memo completely. I mean, the reason the Padres are relevant, the reason the Padres own this marketplace, the reason this is a very successful business venture now, and the reason Petco Park is destination point is because of what that man does. And he's different. I have no doubt about it. I don't know when he sleeps. I get texts and emails from him all different hours of the day. He's got boots on the ground everywhere. If you just go back in the last 4 years, you could just Google the Padres roster in the last 4 years, and you check off how many players they discovered. It's an absolute accumulation of talent. I mean, Robert Suarez was in Mexico failing, was a starter in Japan failing, and they brought him here. And look at him. Nick Martinez was just a guy. They brought him here, and he did well, and now he's got a 3-year contract in Cincinnati. They created Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha. I mean, you can just go through a checklist. I would swear he's had 25 finds of guys that have contributed that they brought on. It's who he is. He knows people, etc. Now, have they whiffed? Yeah. Have they traded the farm system away 3 times? Damn, yes. But still, they've made the product really viable downtown. You buy what I say, do you buy what I say?
No, I do. I mean, and the other thing is he keeps replenishing the farm system. So yeah, he can trade it all away, and then a year later, him and the scouts, they find a way to get more quality.
Yeah, they got a load of pitchers at Class A right now, and some at Double A. But somewhere along the line, don't you have to keep the core of the farm system because Darvish is going to get old, and we don't know whether Musgrove will ever be Musgrove again. And then what becomes of Michael King and Dylan Cease? You're going to need young arms. If you keep trading.
Well, that's the financial model. I mean, you're going to need to have 5 to 10 guys that are, making the minimum, and become big contributors in some way to make the finances work. Yeah.
Okay. I agree with you. I'll sign that memo on Preller.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. And, let's go here to, we'll talk a little Angels. Okay. And this is from Timer 20. He goes, are the Angels sellers or buyers this trade deadline?
It's a huge question. Maybe semi-sellers. Tyler Anderson's got 1 year left on his contract. It's an affordable contract, but Tyler Anderson's not, I don't think, a difference maker in somebody's rotation. Kyle Hendricks signed a 1 year deal to come home. He's pitched a lot better after kind of a rocky start. He's probably a back end of the rotation guy. I don't see trading Taylor Ward, the left fielder, designated hitter. Obviously, Mike Trout's there, does not want to leave there. Trout's not hitting for average, but he is hitting home runs. But there's still a health issue with Mike Trout, and he can't play in the field right now. He's got to be a DH maybe the rest of the season. So they might move some of those fringe pitchers, but if they could get to 500, that's improvement from 99 losses. But they're still a long ways away from being a true wild card team, I think.
I'm just trying to think, if I'm an Angel fan, would I be happy that they trade away someone like Taylor Ward, who's a productive left fielder? I know the Padres would love to have him. Or if the Angels fan would be upset if they traded away Trout, even if they got like a big load of prospects back. Or does Angel fan like saying, hey man, Perry, let's flip this thing. Let's reinvent this whole franchise, is what we have now ain't working.
No, they've drafted. I mean, they're doing through the farm system, and they just continue to draft and draft. I think they drafted 14 more pitchers just 2 weeks ago, and they've signed virtually everybody. And they've still got young pitchers that haven't gotten there yet that are having decent minor league seasons. I just don't think they have enough players. I don't know what the solution is if Artie Moreno is not going to be a guy willing to pay luxury tax anymore, because he's been burned a bunch of different times with the Anthony Rendones and the Josh Hamiltons of the world. It's just a tough thing. But you know what the most amazing thing? They are drawing. They drew 40,000 Saturday night at home. So I mean, Angel fans, I look at the box scores a lot, and I see 28,000, 26,000, 28,000, 32,000. And Saturday I saw 40. I said, hey, Angel fan in Orange County. But at the end of the day, that proves how vibrant a market it could be if you put a winner there rather than a team scuffling to be 500.
There's a lot of money there too.
Sure.
A lot of corporate money in Orange County as well, besides Disney. I mean, there's a lot going on there. So yeah, they should be. It seems like such an untapped resource, the Anaheim Angels of LA or whatever the heck their name is.
Yeah. I concur with you. I'd like to see it different, but owner has to want to make it different, have it be different, have a different business model with, I think, different leadership. I'd like to see Mike Rizzo get a chance. Mike Rizzo's got quite a resume, quite a track record. Why not Anaheim?
Why not? Yeah.
Okay,
right.
Next one.
Okay, let's talk a little Lakers with Joey. He goes, hey, Lakers 2027 lineup will have Joker or Giannis. True or false?
Giannis has not expressed any interest at all in vacating Milwaukee. He could have this year, and there were a lot of rumors that he was going to ask out, and he did not. He's got a special relationship with the community and with ownership. Joker, at this point, says, I'm not interested and willing to talk about an extension yet. He's up for a supermax extension. A year from now, we'll have that same conversation next June as to whether Jokic wants out of Denver, but he likes their people. And, they've been very active in terms of trying to fix what was wrong with the roster, and that they think they're going to have themselves a pretty good team, and they've kind of changed the chemistry of that team a little bit with that Michael Porter trade. So that's going to be fascinating to see. But, you're presupposing LeBron is going to exit after this year, and then you're presupposing that they're going to be able to get Luka to sign a supermax contract. Interesting story. I was told over the weekend, Luka has spent 2 months in Croatia nonstop physical training, and he looks so different, and he's lost weight. That this is when we get to see him when training camp opens in September, October. It's going to be a very different Luka Doncic body wise. So that's kind of fascinating. So Maybe it's a maturity level. Maybe it's the understanding you're in LA, you're with the Lakers, there's a pressure points here, you are the guy. But he went the day after the season was over, he made contact with this training management team in his home country in Croatia. And he's been there nonstop doing it. So it's going to be fascinating to see.
Well, good on him for taking the initiative, do what's right for him, you know, and especially being in Tinseltown, and think of all the endorsement opportunities he has. So, you know, but you know, if Joker and Giannis went to the Lakers, they couldn't do a trade because they have no first round picks, right? So the only way they'd be able to do that is if these players were, you know, pure free agents that they could.
Well, they're not free agents. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you have to do sign and trades, and you have to incorporate third teams that might have different assets. Too complicated. And again, you're in Denver, you're in Milwaukee. Why would you want to give up your cornerstone player?
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you've won a championship with them.
Yeah, and those guys have not shown any indication they want out. Denver, Minnesota. It's going to be interesting because we're going to roll into October, and I'm just of the opinion right now, because everybody spent their money. The deals are pretty much done. I'm of the opinion the Clippers have a better roster, older roster, but better roster right now than the Lakers have. Think we're going to argue about that in September and October?
I think so.
Damn
yeah,
right.
yeah, here we go.
Okay, next one.
Okay, let's keep going. We'll go to Callan, our good friend Callan. He says, hey, afternoon, gents. Saw, despite all the roster turmoil and injury bugs, my goodness, San Diego FC continues to impress. What a win for them on Saturday over Nashville. Snapdragon was rocking.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And they've had a lot of injuries, a lot of setbacks. Guys have been gone, and the season is such a grind. But Chucky Lozano scored the only goal. They got a lot of different people contributing. They need to get everybody injured back healthy, and they need, you know, this final group of games going towards the playoffs. So they become a hit. Soccer fan has really embraced it. The product has been really good. You know, if they had started 0-3-6, maybe a little bit different, but they started out of the gate and have never given up. So far, so good.
Are you still sticking to the old way of doing it as wins, losses, ties, rather than wins, ties, losses?
No, I do wins, losses, ties. It's just easy for me to read.
But that's like the old NFL like scorecard, right?
Yes.
But in hockey, in soccer, it's wins, draws, losses.
Exactly. And you keep looking at it and say, that looks weird to me, but then you realize what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm old school. I'm sorry.
But I'll tell you, San Diego FC is such a thrill to have here locally, you know, and I'm just really excited for them. And it's just unbelievable the year that they're having. Just hope they can keep it up the whole way.
Postseason. Let me see what you're going to do in postseason. Okay, next one.
Okay, some more Dodger talk with Showtime. He goes, hey, I think the Dodgers should be getting Ryan Helsley and Brendan Donovan, who both look quite good against the Padres. I might add Blake Trinan and Snell being back will be a big boost as well. Thanks.
Well, I concur. You know, it's a little odd for St. Louis to finally get into sell mode. Helsley has had a real bounce back season because he was kind of a lost soul last year. He's pitched really well. I like Donovan because he's just a grinder. The one thing that makes those deals doable, Showtime, is the fact that Dodgers have got just a wealth of young players. You can afford to trade young pitching to make a deal like this go through because they got strength in numbers. You can afford to put Dustin May in a deal with some of your young players from Oklahoma City. And they've got so many young pitchers at Oak City and at Double-A that, I think there's potential of a deal. But, you know, the other thing is, does Andrew Friedman want to pay the steep price, or does he just want to pay a 1-for-1 price with Minnesota to rent Harrison Bader? Because his history has been to rent guys too, not go for the big enchilada all the time. So interesting between now and Thursday to see what transpires.
It's just amazing. Like to see Trinan and Snell
coming
back, and those guys are both so good. So you said Snell pitched a shutout, you know, for however many innings,
4+ innings, and no hitter for OKC. So he's up, and he's going to start on the weekend. They're going to a 6-man rotation. It's interesting. All the things that you and I talked about in spring training, we had the big list of all the Dodgers, all the rotation.
Oh yeah.
And, oh my God, how's anybody going to beat? And then they all got hurt.
Yeah.
At this point, they look like we get to August 1st, they're going to turn the corner and virtually all those injured guys are now back in the rotation, and now Trinan is back in a beleaguered bullpen. So just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's mind blowing how they can bring. I mean, it's going to be interesting just watching the transaction list, because there's going to be a lot of good young talent that are going to get bumped down.
Yeah. When we got to the All-Star break, the midseason evaluation of teams, your dumbass co-host,
yeah,
did he not utter the phrase, "We have yet to see the Dodgers play their best baseball"?
Oh yeah.
That came out of my mouth. That might be about to happen starting on
Friday.
Friday.
That's an easy call right there. I mean, the Dodgers, and we knew they were going to be loaded.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's keep on moving. We'll go to Casey, and actually, she had two of them. Let's ask this other one. This is kind of a bit of a tangent on what you just said. Also, you think the Chargers can hold the lead in the NL West? Now, they're all coming back. But, if the Padres make an interesting trade here, do you think they're only 4 games back? I mean, can you see any magic Padres overtaking the Dodgers?
I can't see the Dodgers just continue to slide and falter away. The Dodgers went 5-12, and that's a real problem. The Dodgers are not healthy. So that's a big issue going forward there. Now the Dodgers starting to get all these injured guys back. So keep that in mind. From the Padres' perspective, they're playing about as well as they can, considering how limited they are in the starting rotation. I made this comment last Thursday on the podcast. Then, can you really be optimistic going into the postseason as a wild card team if this is your rotation that San Diego has? If it's Nick Pivetta, and then crossing your fingers on everybody else that has to start in postseason? No, they need more help. They need healthy people. Darvish is not Darvish. We still don't know time frame on a Michael King sighting. And Randy Vasquez is 3 or 4 innings, and that's all Randy Vasquez is. I know maybe you're relying on the 4 horsemen just to carry you every game in postseason. So tough call. The makeup of the Padre rotation right now, John, I just don't like it in terms of being postseason deep.
Well, you need 4 starters, right, for the postseason, not 5. All right. And so Darvish will be one of those, assuming that the Padres make the playoffs.
What kind of Darvish is it?
But it might only be like, Darvish limited time, maybe like Vasquez.
Now, what are you doing about Cease? If you're trading Cease, that creates a hole in your rotation. But can you trust Cease? Because this is not the vintage Dylan Cease we'd seen before.
You know what? Kolek has been pretty good. That kid, yeah. And then Randy Vasquez, I mean, it's always a wild ride when he's pitching, man. And you're right. He always gets to like 4 2/3 innings, and then Schilt comes and pulls him, and he usually has the lead. And you're thinking this guy would have been eligible for the win. That's happened so many times with him.
He has not won a start. I think it's 12 consecutive starts now.
Yeah, because they pull him right before he's eligible to get the win.
Before it implodes.
Yeah. So, you're right. There's a lot of questions, but I'll tell you what, if the stars align on that Padres pitching, Darvish comes back to form, Michael King comes back, they could be very good.
Could be, but we don't know.
Right.
Here's the other piece of the equation. It's not August yet. Do you know beat LA? They meet 6 more times?
Really?
Okay, yeah, in August.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
Only thing missing would be Jurickson and Profar jumping up and down in left field.
All right. Yeah. Or Tatis, with the big testicles and right.
Okay, Casey, hope we answered your question. We got a ways to go yet. Thursday. Don't miss Thursday's show because, baseball's rosters in the pennant chase are going to be really different by the time we hit the air on Thursday and by Friday morning.
Yeah, and there's already been a few deals today. So, okay, let's go to our friend John. This is a little bit of Cooperstown talk. He goes, hey, my favorite speech is from one of the writers,
yes,
Tom Boswell, who said, I've been certain that there is more to sports, more power to move us, more links to bond us, more ways to console us, and more ways to show us our similarities, not our differences, than we acknowledge, and more to write about, too.
Well, as John and I talked about at the onset of the show, baseball is about generations. And when we watch them play, we replay our own memories of what baseball meant to us growing up. So that's the emotional grasp to me to the game. I mean, I follow the game and I cover it and I write about it on my website. We talk about this move and that game and et cetera, et cetera. But it's also with me, it's always an emotional link to what I grew up watching baseball. And John's been to my house. I got a library. My man cave is all bookcases.
Oh, huge. Yeah.
And I got so many historical baseball books. I'm a baseball junkie. And I still have my baseball cards. They're in the back of the closet in a box. I can't get to it, but I still have my baseball cards too.
Sports does bring people together.
Sure.
Isn't that's a great thing? It breaks down things and culture. And that's the great thing about international sports, bringing all these nations together. But, the writer, Tom Boswell, why does that name make me think of Mr. Cunningham from Happy Days? Wasn't that the actor named Tom Boswell? Am I getting?
Yeah. Was that not the name? Yeah. That's a good question. Boswell obviously was a legendary guy with the Washington Post.
Oh, that's okay. All right. So, but yeah, I'm just getting my names confused here. But yeah, what a magical time in Cooperstown.
Oh,
I would have liked to have gone there for an induction. I know a lot of San Diegans made the trip for when Gwynn went in.
And when Trevor went in.
And so that might be something just to have on our scorecard. If we're going to go to all the stadiums, we may as well go to the Hall of Fame on induction day.
The hall is so cool, though. You want to go when there's nobody there, and then you can be there forever. And here what you do is you give your American Express Gold card to the wife and you tell her, I'll see you back at the hotel at 8:00 tonight. We'll go have a nice dinner at the Lake Otesaga Hotel, which is the historic hotel.
Well, that's what we did when we went. It was funny is we were there. My kids were young. They were like maybe 14 and 12. And we were in the Hall of Fame for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And by that time, the kids, the wife they were tapped out. But I wanted to keep going. So what I did is I drove them back to the hotel. And then I drove back to the hall and spent another, 2 or 3 hours just reading and taking in everything.
The library is unbelievable. I lost myself in the library for 4 hours doing research on my dad and my uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And that was so cool. I've never been to the actual basement archives. I'd love to go there because that's where all the other 400,000 artifacts are. Not everything is on display in the hall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is so cool. And when I went, the last time I went a couple of years ago, when we went to the hall and we went through the plaque gallery and I showed my wife the Tony Gwynn plaque. It was so cool. But then we're walking and they have all these different displays. They had the Negro League display and they had a Jackie Robinson Brooklyn Dodger display. And they had an old Pittsburgh Pirate display.
Oh, nice.
And she's the Pirates fan.
Okay.
These girls from West Virginia. So they had the old pirate logo, the old bucko, Jolly Roger, I guess you call him.
Yeah. He looks like Jim Rockwell.
Yeah, and
or Rockford.
It was honoring Clemente, and they had the actual home plate where Mazeroski stepped on the home plate. So she stood on the home plate. I took this picture. So that's what baseball is. It's memories.
Yeah, I mean, it's unlike every other sport in that way. But I never really thought about the archives, but you're right. They probably have so many artifacts. They cycle them around and have different themes, different months. I mean, it's like going to the Louvre. I mean, it's a special place.
One thing they've never done, I wondered why they've never done it. Because we have 30 ballparks, why would you not have a rotating Hall of Fame display at Yankee Stadium, at City Park, where the Mets, where the Phillies play, Cincinnati, San Diego, and actually have an alcove that would have some of the Baseball Hall of Fame artifacts there that fans coming to a Padre game could actually walk through and say, oh, yeah, look at all this memorabilia, just as an example of what Cooperstown is. And like I say, and to all the people on Livestream, you want to go to Cooperstown, you go in January when it's cold and snowy upstate and there is nobody there. And you can go in there at 9 a.m. and you could be there till 7 p.m. if you want, just to lose yourself because there's no place else to go in Cooperstown in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
It is so cool. Like I said, give the wife the gold card, let her go shopping, tell her you'll see her at 8:00 at the Otesaga Hotel.
Okay, you want to keep going? We got some time for some social media?
Do it quick.
Do it quick. All right, let's go here. Let's talk some Charger talk. And this is from Day One Rob. He goes, hey, the Chargers are irrelevant in LA and always will be. A failed owner who failed his fan base and the organization.
Obviously, this guy doesn't like the new Charger uniforms. The Savannah banana color, gold on gold, they look weird to me. The blue on blue looks weird to me too, but they everybody loves the powder blues, and I love the icy whites. The all white uniforms are my most favorite from the years that I was the voice of the Chargers. So the quarterback is not irrelevant. That's a great quarterback. It is interesting. Jim Harbaugh, in a team meeting on the weekend, challenged his players to be what the quarterback is. Says you guys have to play up to be what this guy is, Justin Herbert. So we'll see. I think they're a good team. Got answers. I still need answers at defensive tackle. I love their linebackers. I love their secondary depth. We still have to see what the mix is in the offensive front, who the actual center is. Obviously, with the retired Mike Williams at such a late date, somebody young guys going to have to step up and become a trustworthy wide receiver. And then we'll see if Najee Harris can be Najee Harris, because if he's not there, then it's all on the shoulders of Omarion Hampton, number one draft pick. That's an awful lot to ask a rookie to be the heavy-duty guy. So they got questions to be answered, and we're going to sneak preview Thursday with the kids. They're not going to play the veterans. The kids are going to play against the Lions in the Hall of Fame game in Canton.
Now, that quote you just shared from Harbaugh about Herbert.
Play up to Herbert.
Play up to Herbert. That kind of has like a teacher's pet vibe. I mean, how do you think that would go down in the locker room? I mean, people go, oh, yeah, the quarterback, the golden child. Everyone needs to be like him.
He is the cornerstone of the franchise.
He is. But I'm just wondering if everybody on that roster buys in on that.
I think so, because he's such a warrior. He's played hurt every year, and he never comes out of the lineup. And his statistics are mind-boggling considering what he doesn't have around him. If there had been no Justin Herbert, do you know how many 3-13 seasons that have? Holy moly.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a whole different picture.
On we go. Next one.
Okay, let's talk some Dodgers here. And this is from Joe Barr. He goes, hey, if you want the best offensive productions from a couple of these hitters, Ohtani should not be pitching. He should stay at DH. Betts should not be the shortstop. It takes up too much of his mental and physical energy. They should put him back in right field where he belongs, and his offensive production will definitely increase, because he looks horrible at the plate, and he doesn't even look good at shortstop.
I concur with a piece of that, and I don't know how much of this has got to do with the illness and the loss of strength in the spring. He's lost his bat speed. There's no doubt about that. He's a different guy at home plate right now. Is that because of the position? He denies it. He says that's playing shortstop is not the reason I'm not hitting right now. And they've done all the metrics, and the metrics say his bat speed is way off from what it was before. So, but you make a trade, maybe you get a different shortstop, because I got Miguel Rojas. Do you put him at what do you do with Kim? Kim can play second, but you got, Kim playing third a little bit because of the Max Muncy injury. But we'll just see what they do at the trade deadline, because they import somebody. It's going to change the mix of who plays where going forward. If they get Brandon Donovan, I really like him. He's a grinder. That changes the infield. But at this point, I don't think they're going to turn it upside down. And in terms of Ohtani, I mean, he has not failed in 4 starts. And the next start's going to be a 4-inning go. They say 6-man rotation effective this weekend, 6-man rotation, which means Yamamoto does not wear down. And obviously you give Snell bigger breaks between his laborious starts and Ohtani once per week. And they do have the depth. So it's going to be fascinating to see who they come out of the trade deadline with, and then what they do in terms of rearranging lineup, and then how it all impacts the rotation.
So is Conforto sort of out of the picture in left field? Is that where this is going?
Could be, but you never know. Injuries change everything. Conforto's not hit up until this week, and suddenly I got hot again. And he's hit. He's hit with power. Prior, he's hit for average, but boy, he's been miserable this season.
Interesting. It's an interesting take there by Joe, because it does take a whole different mental energy to play right field and shortstop. I mean, so I could see how that would have an impact. And on top of it, you're saying that health issue with Mookie.
Well, he lost 20 pounds. He lost all of his strength, I think. Not hitting home runs the way he has. And obviously his batting average is substandard, 248 or something like that. So we'll see. Trade deadline. But by Thursday, something's going to happen.
Yeah, this is a great time of the year.
Don't miss this podcast. Okay, couple more.
Okay, let's talk Angels. And we're kind of doing the rounds in SoCal. This is from Miller. Hey, really trying to hammer this. Can't develop a starting pitcher narrative. The Angels are the only team that hasn't had a pitcher miss a start this season. He knows what he's doing.
Well, at the end of the day, do they have star pitching, or is it just filler pitching? Kikuchi's, he's a proven veteran. But when Hendrick is your number 2 guy, the Soriano kid has pitched well in chunks of time and then gotten lit up, and everybody else is just a refugee from Salt Lake City. I don't know that they have enough starting pitching. Starting pitching to be good enough to be, maybe we're a 500 team, or we're talking about starting pitching vis-a-vis wildcard team. Angels just don't have enough right now. So I can't sign the memo that everything is great just outside Disneyland with that ballpark ball club. Not yet. Still need more players.
Well, that was always the rap, that Artie Moreno would never sign a pitcher as a free agent, couldn't draft a pitcher, and then they flipped the table 100% and just drafted all pitchers. So, I mean, any of those guys, I think that year they drafted all pitchers, have any of them made it to the big leagues yet?
Not with any impact. I mean, the next one, I think, coming is Caden Dana. He's a young college guy. Now, they just drafted a really good number 1 pick at a UCSB.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that he's anywhere near major league ready, but we'll just have to see whether
that guy was a reach in the draft too.
Well, he was a surprise pick. There were guys at Tennessee and LSU that they could have had that they didn't. Instead, they drafted this guy. He's got great statistics. He's a big, strong power pitcher, but we'll see. Does he go to Arizona, the camp league? Do they send him to Class A to start? How quickly is he going to get acclimated to pro baseball? He's got to be more than just a thrower. He is a thrower right now. So I don't think they have enough pitchers.
Yeah. That's a tough go for them.
Okay, next one.
Okay, let's talk a little salary cap in MLB. And this is from P2 the G. He goes, hey, no salary cap, salary minimum. Teams should be mandated to spend 80% of their revenue share.
Bingo. The corporate name is Florida spending. That's the luxury tax kind of acts as a cap. So I don't need conversation about a cap as long as the union's already agreed to luxury tax. And that number will go up as the gross revenues go up. But we need to have a floor to spending. You're taking revenue sharing money. That money has to be turned back in to player salaries. And I guarantee you, P2, if everybody had a floor to spending, say you had to spend $120 million or $140 million based on revenue sharing. If everybody had to spend $140 million, you'd get good second-level guys, free agents, going to Pittsburgh, going to Kansas City, going to wherever, Miami, Tampa, and then make that product better. And if the product gets better, those teams are in the wild card race. And then everybody's going crazy in Tampa or Pittsburgh if their team's in a wild card race. That's where I think the union has just totally missed the boat completely. That a Florida spending works in the NFL, the NBA, and the NHL. Do that. I don't need a cap. We got a luxury tax. Do the Florida spending. More money, more goes into more pockets of good, decent ball players. They're going to make the mid-level markets better. Does that make sense?
Well, it does. And like the Pirates right now, I mean, I know their payroll is less than $100 million, and they're dumping their players. They're in sell mode, aren't they?
Right. Well, they got Paul Skeens, and that's it.
That's it. So everybody not named Skeens is on the block, and like Mitch Keller and all these other guys.
Yeah. Now they've got some more pitchers coming that are really good. It's a byproduct of having had lousy seasons and drafting high, and they got a bunch of kids. They haven't gotten there yet, but they're going to get there.
Yeah. I mean, I know I used to always oppose the idea of the salary cap, and because I'm more of a free market guy, but the objective here in the league is to have that sort of parity I don't know if that's really the right word, but a little bit more balance in the league, so you don't have big market teams dominating all the time. Mm-hmm. And so, have they been able to pull that off? Every once in a while, you'll get a Kansas City Royals, but it's rare when that sort of thing happens.
So that's going to be the bone of contention. And the union is dead set against salary cap. That's what led to the Bryce Harper confrontation with Rob Manfred over the weekend. The luxury tax takes care of that. So the big teams will spend and the big teams will throw money into the pot. How they share it has to be debated. Obviously, the revenue streams with the media landscape contracts has now drastically changed with the death of the regional sports networks. That's going to be an issue. But to me, a Florida spending that mandates every team has to spend a base minimum means there's going to be more money available for the second and third tier guy to go there. Okay, we have covered it. All I got to say is A, thank you for being part of this. B, give us a thumbs up. give us a 5-star rating. It helps us a great deal. C, share with everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. And D, do not miss Thursday's trade deadline show. It's going to be busy. It's going to be phenomenal. I guarantee you by the time we hit the air, rosters will be changing.